Shalom to my brothers and sisters in the body of Yahushua HaMashyah and to the scattered Hebrew Israelites who are throughout the four corners of the earth. Today I bring you a very important message. Very important because I know for years many has been talking about the star constellation, especially with September the 23rd, 2017. But I'm here to tell you that they miss some very important information and details. Now, I do want to say this first to make this clear. This video is not to give you a date for the gathering. Some may call it the rapture, and others may call it the redemption. This video is not for that. This video is to give you understanding of what these signs mean in the heaven. Yahushua told us that there will be signs given to us that is manifested in the earth and in the heavens. And even Genesis chapter 1 verse 14 confirms to us that there will be signs in the heavens to tell us things. This is one of the ways how the Most High communicate with his people so they can get his message. So this video will give you understanding what does this September 23rd, 2017 constellation means. And also I have some shocking evidence to show you that they missed. They didn't go further. So let us begin. The meaning of September 3 BC and 2017 AD star constellation and the arm of Yahuwah, the great sign in the heaven. The title of this video again would be The Meaning of September 3 BC and 2017 AD star constellation and the arm of Yahuwah, the great sign in heaven. And probably by the time you watch this video, the title may change or be similar to this title I just gave. But this will give you an idea what this video is about. So take this time now to pause your screen. And this is a photo of this star constellation that's been going around the internet. Take this time now to pause the screen, to write down the information you see on this photo. But I'm not going to go over it right now because this photo is missing a lot of important details. So we're going to look at the star constellations, not only at September the 23rd, but the other ones that follow, so you can get the full picture of what's going on. Now, September the 23rd, 2017 AD, constellation falls in the 7th month of the Most High Holy Calendar. Now, the 23rd comes after the dark moon phase. See, the dark moon starts on September the 20th. So we are expecting to see the new moon crescent most likely around September 21st. Okay. Also, in the month of September, we have the fall equinox, and that falls on the 22nd day. Now, for the Hebrew calendar, our days start from sundown to sundown. So the fall equinox will fall between September the 22nd to September the 23rd, sundown to sundown. So at this time, we are in our 10th month and given to transition to the 11th month. So the 10th month was from December to January. And the 11th month would be from January to February. Okay. Now, for the 12 months observers, these are ones who do not observe a 13th month. What's going to happen for them for this year, that their 7th month is going to fall in August before the fall equinox. Therefore, their feast of tabernacles will be out of seasons. You see, my people, the word tells us that there are 3 solemn feasts that has to fall in the right season. Read Deuteronomy chapter 16, verse 16, 2 Chronicles chapter 8, verse 13, and the precept for Deuteronomy chapter 16, verse 16 are Exodus chapter 23, verse 14, and Exodus chapter 34, verse 23. Now, the 3 solemn feasts are Passover, which is also known as Feast of Unleavened Bread, which go from Abib 14th to Abib 21st. That's in the spring. Pentecost, which is also known as Feast of Weeks, happens in summertime. And to get that formula and why it will fall in the summer, you have to read Leviticus chapter 23. For you must have 7 complete Sabbaths and 50 days. Many people miss that word "and," which is conjunction, because there are 2 things that we are to count. We will have 7 complete Sabbaths, and after those 7 complete Sabbaths, we're supposed to have 50 days. That usually will fall on the 4th month, the 28th day, or the 4th month, 29th day, depending on the days of the moon from the prior months. And the Feast of Tabernacle is the 3rd solemn feast that falls in the fall. These 3 feasts, my people, have to fall in the correct season. If you understand and have studied the Most High Holy Calendar, you will learn that it's based on agriculture too. Everything aligns. Okay. So here we have a chart. I'm going to blow this up so you can see how I got these dates on when the 7th month will fall. Okay. So right here in this blank spot, I knew that December the 29th was the day of the dark moon. Okay. So for us who observe the 13th month, that'd be the 10th month. Okay. So that'd be 10. So let's go down here and count the number of moons. We'll look down here first. Now, timeanddate.com do not go by the new moon crescent. They go by the dark moon. Watch my other videos to get the full understanding on why we go by the new moon crescent. However, we're going to count the number of dark moons to get an idea when the new moon crescent will fall in. Okay? So for us, we knew that the dark moon fell on December the 29th, 2016. That is the 10th month for the ones who observed the 13 months. Okay? So January the 28th dark moon would be the 11th. February the 26th would be the 12th. Then in March would be the 1st. April 26th would be the 2nd. May the 25th would be the 3rd. Then you have 4, 5, 6, 7. So that falls on September the 20th. Okay, that's the dark moon. So the day that followed after that dark moon day would be the new moon crescent day for the 7th month. Okay. And the link of this would be in the video description box, so you can get an idea when the 7th month will fall. All right. Some brief announcements. Let me minimize this and this will be very important because this video is going to be heavily in detail and you may not understand a lot of things I'm telling you in this video. So this is why it's very important that you watch these videos that I'm giving you, that I'm recommending for you to watch. Okay. And they will be in the video description box. All right. FYI. When you look at the Gentile calendars and dates, you got to understand the abbreviation and what they mean. Because there was a period of time that when they was using the Julian calendar, and then later on in time they switched to the Gregorian calendar. So you have to be familiar about what is BC, what is AD, or what is BCE, which is before Common Era. And before Common Era really actually stand for BC. Okay. But with BCE, it's going to be number like -2, -1 to 0. Now, CE, which is Common Era, represents AD. Okay. So you can see 1 AD, 2 AD, so forth. Because in the Julian calendar, it has no zero. There's no zero between 1 BC and 1 AD. Okay, so these are very important to know when you're looking at the Gentile sources when you're doing your research. Okay. Now, the videos that would be in the description box, so you can get a full understanding of what I'm telling you in this video. Okay, because I'm not going to be going to a lot of details. I'm just going to give you the straight answer. You need to watch American President number 45 in the Plague of Darkness. That really talks about Draco, which is the dragon, okay, pertaining to Revelations chapter 12. You also need to watch Damn Prophecy of the Last Days. Now, I know the title may be slightly different when you click on that video link, but Dan prophecy to his sons does pertain to these last days. You definitely need to watch it. Also, you need to watch earthquakes, the birth pains, sinkholes, and the sun into Mazzaroth, because that'll give you some understanding when I'm talking about the Most High Holy Calendar, like, what is the 7th month? What is the 1st month? Things like that. Also watch King James 1611 Almanac, Easter near/on Passover, and Christ born in the 7th month. That video is very important for you to watch. So you can get a full understanding how these star constellation also relate to Christ's birth. Okay. The mystery of Yahuwah's Sabbath. That video too would be in the description box. Again, to give you more understanding about the Most High Holy Calendar. Now, I do not expect you to agree with me on everything, but what I'm expecting you to do is to do your research and to seek Yahuwah for his truth. Okay? So in those video description box, you will find links there where you can do your research and do a further study on the things I'm telling you. Also, in the video description box, let me bring this up some now. There will be a link dealing with the lunar eclipse. And this also pertained to Christ when he was crucified with the darkness for the lunar eclipse that happened on April the 14th, 32 AD. Okay. Also, when Herod died, there have been new profound research explaining to people that he actually died in 1 BC. Okay. And this lunar eclipse will also prove that and confirm that, especially what Josephus was talking about. So this lunar eclipse was on January the 10th day, 1 BCE, or you on the chart, you will see it as 0 Jan 10. All right. Those links will be in the box. Now I put this right here. I also list about the hours of darkness, because remember, the way they told time is different from the way we do things now. We have watches. Remember, they have sundowns, or they can look at the heavens and they could determine what time it was. Okay. And that's also can be confirmed in the Bible as well, Old Testament and New Testament. But just keep this in mind. When they say the 6th hour, remember that 6th hour can go from 12 noon to 12:59. Okay, so when you're looking at these charts of these lunar eclipses, keep that in mind when they give you a time range of these eclipses. All right, because they go through the different stages of the eclipse and how long they last. So when you go from the 6th hour to the 9th hour of darkness, you will notice that there's actually a total of 4 numbers. 6, 7, 8, 9. But when we subtract from 6 from 9, that's how we get 3 hours. But when you write everything out, it could be 3 hours and some minutes. Again, it still could be counted as 3 hours. Okay. So back then, I'm sorry, my tongue get twisted. Back then, the way they tell time or keep time probably is slightly different from the way we keep time today, because we have minutes and seconds. For them, it's probably more in hours. All right. Now, this is very important. You want to write this down. This is to give you the time that we are in. This is the information that Yahuwah enemies do not want you to know. This is very important, because this will relate to the star constellations that we are seeing now in the heavens. We are in the 7th day from Adam, and this year is 2017 AD. And to convert that time into Hebrew time, based on what the Most High has shown me so far, I got 7,485 years. When you convert that to the creation time, you'll get 12,485 years. Okay? So we're in the 7th day from Adam, which is the 12th day from creation. Now, when you take 7,485 and convert it to Beta Israel time, they are also Hebrew Israelites. They've been keeping record too, my people. They have 7,088. And the Jewish people, who are the sons of Japheth and the sons of Esau, they have 5,777. The reason why their number is lower, because they do not believe in Christ. So you can see it's almost close to a 2,000 year difference. Okay. So now let us begin about this constellation. Now there's many videos out here that talks about this, but I'm going to let you know now. Some is correct. Some is not correct. Yahuwah only going to show his servants the mysteries, the whole truth about the mysteries of these star constellations. So when you watch other people's videos, keep this in mind. We have a saying of chew the meat and spit out the bone. Whatever they are saying, you need to go back in the Word. And you need to get the same program they're getting. And you need to watch the heavens yourself. And I'm going to use this for example. When I did a research on this, the Most High let me know they missed something very important. They missed a very important sign. So now we're going to begin studying these constellations. So everyone is more familiar with Revelation chapter 12 constellation. So this is just a quick outline on what that constellation stands for. Now in Revelation 12, it does not mention Leo, okay? But when you study the stars, you're going to find that Leo does tie into the Virgin. So the Leo constellation is the royal star constellation because we know Yahushua HaMashyah is to come out from the tribe of Judah. And he would be what? A lion. Read Genesis chapter 49 and Revelation, I think it's Revelation chapter 5. Okay. Now there's a bright star in the Leo constellation that represents the king's star. Again, it's a representation of Christ. It's known as the Regulus star. All right. Now here's one of the things that many has missed when they talk about these star constellations. There are 12 stars that circle above the virgin head. Okay. Now in the photo that you saw prior had on Leo and those 3 planets as being the crown or being the circle. But I'm here to tell you it's not so. Okay. And I do have proof and I will show it to you. Virgo. Now Virgo is a Latin word and it means virgin. In Hebrew, they would say Bethula. All right. Now in Virgo hand, again, what she holds in her hands, again, those are messages for you. And you will see how this play into prophecy. Now, Spica here that you see here holding in her right hand, okay, is the seed of the wheat. Read 1 John 3 and 9. That gives you a clue about that seed. Who is that seed? Another meaning for Spica is an ear of corn. Now, in the Bible, when it mentioned corn, it's not talking about corn the cob. It's actually talking about wheat when you do your research. Okay. Now, over here, this arm here, there's a star that leads out this straight way to represent what? The branch. Now, I cannot say this word. Pause your screen and get those different terms for that star. But it starts with a V. Okay. And that star is the arm bearing the branch. And this star that's named V is a Chaldee word, which means the son or branch who cometh. All right. Also, it would ties into the Hebrew word, which is, I think it's pronounced Tesmech, T-S-E-M-E-C-H. That's the Hebrew word for branch. Okay. The Latin word for branch is viga. Okay. Now, to get more understanding about this branch, I highly recommend that you read Jeremiah 33, verse 15 and Jeremiah chapter 23, verse 5. And also Isaiah chapter 11, verse 1 and Zechariah chapter 6, verse 12. Okay. Now, we're going to take a look at this photo here. And these links will also be in the description box. Okay. Let me scroll down a little bit more. Now, looking at this photo, you notice that Virgo is clothed with the sun. So when you look at what it means for her to be clothed with the sun, when you look at this picture over here, it means that she's going to be shining like a bright white light, just like how the sun shines, okay? And notice the position of the sun, because this is based on September 11th, 3 BC Constellation, okay? Notice that the sun is like in the abdomen area right here. Notice that position is very important, because when we talk about the other star constellations, you begin to see a difference. All right. And here, they have the moon out of here. Okay. But like I said, this is photos I got from another person's site. But right here, this is a photo that I did with the star program. That's also dated for September the 11th, 3 BC. And we'll get to some larger photos where you can see the actual position of the moon. Okay. So when the verse is talking about clothed with the sun, she's shining like a bright white light. All right. And we know that the word mentioned that the moon is under her feet. Now, here is something that about when you read Revelations chapter 12, I did forget to mention this at the beginning of the video. When you read Revelations chapter 12, it's giving you the past, the present, and the future. And the problem when most people read Revelation chapter 12, they may only run with those verses, or they may seek out a couple other verses in the Old Testament, but they forget about the gospel. And this is why they don't have the correct time when Christ was actually born, because they forgot about the East Star. All right. And this is very important. We're going to talk about this East Star later on. But the East Star is the conjunction of a star and a planet. And during this period of time of the East Star, you're going to notice the retrograde. We're going to talk more about that, what that basically means. Okay. And last but not least, what is mentioned in Revelation chapter 12 is the dragon. Now, another word for dragon in Latin is Draco. Okay. He's also known as Leviathan, which also stands for Satan. Again, those videos I recommend for you to watch. Please watch them, because I'm only going to give you the highlights now. So in Revelation 12, talks about the 7 heads, the 7 kingdoms, the 7 crowns, which represent 7 kings, and the 10 horns. Now, you have to read Daniel chapter 7 and going all the way up to the end of the King James 1611. And I cannot stress to you how important that 1611 is, because it has the Apocrypha, the missing piece to the puzzle. So the 10 horns at first represent the 10 Greek kingdom. Until the beast was restored, okay, it changed over to the United Nations. And the United Nations are made up of the European nations. Again, Europeans are the sons of Japheth and the sons of Esau. Now, I'm not going to read this out word for word, But I want you to I'm going to blow this up first. Pause your screen because you want to write this down to get the 10 Greek kingdoms. Okay. So there was 10 Greek kingdoms during the time of the first Antichrist, named as Antiochus IV Epiphanes. And this was during the time of 175 BC. Okay. So it's very important that you read 1st and 2nd Maccabees, because that's the first Antichrist who came on the scene. Now, the Antichrist is a person who is against the Most High word, who do not want nobody to serve the Most High, and does not want anybody to keep Torah. So they're going to be against the King James 1611. They're going to be against the Old Testament and against Torah. And Antiochus IV Epiphanes, when you read about him in 1st and 2nd Maccabees, give you a great example. So he was the first one who came on the scene. Then after him, many antichrists came after him. Okay. But we're waiting for the last Antichrist to show now. We're waiting for his kingdom to come forth now. That's what we're waiting for. Okay. Also, take this time to pause your screen, because I'm not going to read this word for word, but just some information about the Greek kingdoms, especially when you're dealing with Alexander the Great, how his kingdom split into 4, which will give you understanding with Daniel prophecy in chapter 8. Okay. Also, just to give you understanding how the 4th beast was restored, and you can read about that in Revelation chapter 13 and 2nd Ezra chapter 12. Read that whole chapter, but also look at verse 18. And then this last paragraph here will give you information about the Roman Empire, where you can get the dates of when Rome fell. All right. So take this time now to pause your screen. Okay. Now here we have a picture of the United Nations. Okay. You think about the 10 European nations, who the head of it. And this is, if it has not changed, this is what I had on hand. Okay. All right. So in this video, we're going to compare the constellation of September 11th, 3 BC, September 14th, 3 BC, and September 20, 2017 AD, and September 23rd, 27 AD. We're also going to look at the conjunction between a star and a planet, because again, they miss a very important piece when you look at the East Star. All right. So now we're going to, let me scroll down just a little bit. I'm going to have to minimize this a little bit to see where this is going. So what we're doing now, we are going to compare right quick September the 23rd, 2017 AD star constellation to September the 11th, 3 BC star constellation. This is one of the signs that they had missed. I'm going to blow this back up so you can look at it, but I really want you to pay attention. Notice here we have Regulus, Venus, Mars, and Mercury here. Okay. Then you have the Leo constellation. Now, Regulus is the star. I'm sorry, my tongue getting twisted. Is the star in the Leo constellation, and it is a bright star. So notice this, how this is over her head, Virgo head. So the moon is down to here. Okay. The sun is behind her head, right here. Okay, so that's very important to see this. So I'm going to blow this up so that way you can take this time to pause your screen. So you can see this for yourself. And blow it one more time. I really want you to see this. So this is for September the 23rd, 2017. Okay. Now we're going to look at September the 11th, 3 BC. Now, notice in that picture, I'm about to get to it. I want to read this part here, that there's no Venus, no Mars, and no Mercury above Virgo's head. Okay. So this is September the 11th, 3 BC. This is the first time of the appearance of this constellation based off of Revelation 12. Notice here, Jupiter-Regulus is above here. Now, I know what it looks like. It looks like that Jupiter is in conjunction with Regulus on this day, but it's not. I have a picture that I blowed up so you can see it. But notice that you don't have the other planets above Virgo head. Also notice that the sun is in the abdomen area, right here. Okay. And then notice that Venus and Mercury is behind her head or near her head. Okay. Also, the moon is right in this area. Okay. So these are the things that I see that many people are missing. And they are saying that this constellation didn't happen before, but it did. It did happen before. And they're not truly understanding Revelation 12, because Revelation 12 is a prophecy that pertains to a past event, to a present event, and to a future event. Do you see where I'm going with this now? Okay. Also, I want to mention that they said that there was a circle of stars around her head. Now, the next picture I'm going to go to is going to give you where that circle of stars are. Okay. Because this is in 3 BC. Here is a larger picture of September 11th, 3 BC. And unfortunately, I don't have the software where I can outline it for you, but I do have some pictures where you can see it. There's a circle of stars that's over Virgo head. Okay, and this is 3 BC. And these circles of stars, if you notice, are between Leo and Virgo. And it starts right here, go out there, come up here, then it goes out here, comes around, back up here. Okay, those are the circle of stars. Now, you know your sister. I did some research, so I did get the names of them. However, I cannot pronounce these names, so take this time to pause your screen to get these names. Some of these stars are in Leo constellation, and some of these stars are in Virgo constellation. And if I look at here, I believe Virgo, there are 4 stars that's in Virgo. And see, 4 from 12. And then there are 8 stars in Leo. So take this time now to pause your screen to get these stars. Which brings us to this photo here. Now, keep in mind, this came from another person's website. One website could not open, and this website that I got this image from right here didn't really give details of the stars, but that person too was aware that the circle of stars mentioned in Revelation chapter 12 was not talking about Leo or the planets. Okay, because as you can see here, you only have Jupiter up here with Regulus. You didn't have any other planet near here. So that person too realized that the circle of stars was actually talking about these stars, and they can be seen from the earth, that would surround Virgo head right here. Okay. And this picture here will give you an idea of their names. So take this time now to pause your screen. And I need to make a correction. It's actually going to be 4 questions that we're going to talk about here in this video. The first question is, what is the sign that announces the coming of Yahushua in the earthly realm? I'll give you a hint. Feast of trumpets. Think about that. Okay. Question 2. What is the sign that gives the day of Yahushua's birth? The East Star. Question 3. What is the sign that confirms whose kingdom we are in? Okay. That answer can be found in Genesis chapter 3, verse 15, 2nd Ezra chapter 6, verse 7 through 9, and verse 18 through 19. That constellation is Draco. In question 4, what is the sign in heaven to confirm the season of Yahushua coming? That sign is the Revelation chapter 12. And it starts around September the 23rd, 2017. I want to say this again. This is not to give you a gathering / redemption / rapture date. For the word states, no man shall know the day and hour, but we shall know the season, as Yahushua said himself in Matthew chapter 24. This is why he told us to watch and pray, so we would not be caught off guard with his coming. Okay? We will be prepared and ready for him. So September the 23rd is to give you a sign, to give you a confirmation that Yahushua HaMashyah is coming, my people. That's what this is all about. So you can be ready, but most important, so you can warn others. I know many people going to look at you as being crazy and not believing you because they're looking at the amount of time that has passed by. But I cannot stress to you how important it is to warn your family, your friends, the strangers, and even our enemies, because he is coming, my people. The signs are there. So we're going to talk a little more for the details about these questions here, okay? Question 1. What is the sign that announces the coming of Yahushua in the earthly realm? Now the sign I'm talking about is the time when he was coming. Okay. Now I told you a hint, Feast of Trumpets, the 7th month and first day. And I really want you to think about what is trumpets about. Why do my people sound the trumpet, or why do my people sound the shofar? Think about it. Okay. So here I have a picture right here. Now, most sites that you go to in videos would say that Yahushua HaMashyah was born on September the 11th, 3 BCE. But I'm here to tell you that it's not correct. Here are the reasons. Number 1, you see here, and I'm going to blow this up so you can really see it. Jupiter and Venus. When I enlarge that image on the star program that I have, and I'm going to let you know the star program that I have, they are free. You can get them. So you too can look this up for yourself. One I have is called Planetarium, and the other one is called Stellarium. Okay. But when I enlarged this image of September 11th, 3 BC, I noticed that Jupiter was not like on top of Regulus. There was some distance between them on that day. Okay. Another clue. Now I'm gonna minimize this to let me know that he was not born on the first day of the 7th month. And this is why it's so important to read the Old Testament and New Testament, because those who stay away from the Old Testament gonna miss this. The Feast of Trumpets, my people, which is the 7th month first day, is a holy convocation day. And that means it is a day of rest. It is a Sabbath day. It is a high holy day. When we say high holy day, that we think about it, another word that we call our Father in heaven is what? Most High. So this is why you may see it written in the Bible like a high day or a high holy day, because it was a day ordained by the Most High to be holy unto him. Okay, it's a set apart day. So by knowing this, my people, which is Joseph and Mary, would not travel on a holy day. It was against traveling on a Sabbath day, okay? Also, this feast is not required to go to Jerusalem. So you have to ask yourself this: would Joseph and Mary enroll in a census on a holy day? Think about it. Would they travel all the way down to Bethlehem to enroll in a tax? No. Okay. Read Numbers chapter 28 and 29 and Leviticus chapter 23 to understand the laws or the commandments regarding the holy feast days. To also learn more about the trumpets, read Numbers chapter 10 and Joel chapter 2, because trumpets is always what? Sounding an alarm for something. It is to let you know about something's coming, or it's to warn you. All right. So read that. And also the work of Josephus, he talks about the sounding of the trumpets. Okay. So your next question would be, what is the sign that gives the day of Yahushua's birth? And that is the East Star. Now, for those who have read Revelation 12 and just ran with it, you have to understand, Revelation 12 is just a summary of the past, present, and future. See, the way the Bible is written, you have pieces of the puzzle everywhere. And all the pieces of the puzzle is not in one spot. So you have to read the whole volume of the book, my people. So this is the sign they miss about the East Star, which can be found in Matthew chapter 2, verse 1. Now, when Yahushua was born in Bethlehem of Judea, in the days of Herod the king, behold, there came wise men from the east to Jerusalem, saying, where is he that is born King of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east and are come to worship him. Now, for my Old Testament keepers, you need to look up in Greek what it means to worship him. Is not the way you think. Remember, the New Testament, the copy of the New Testament that we have today came from the Greek translation. But I want to let you know, my people, the Old and the New Testament was originally written in Hebrew, but my people translated into other languages. All right. Now, in this verse here, it's giving us some very important facts. Notice it said, now when Yahushua was born. Do you see that clue right there? Also, another thing, wise men came from the east. And what did they say to King Herod? Where is he that is born King of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east. So what is that star in the east? You got to ask yourself. Now in the 1611, it gives us a precept. Let us read that. Okay. Now I'm not going to read this whole thing, but I put it here so you can take your time to pause your screen and look at this to prove to you that the word tax means to be enrolled. All right. So this is about Joseph and Miriam, and Miriam's another word for Mary, how they traveled to Bethlehem, okay, to be enrolled in the census. So the clue here that it gave us in verse 6 was, and so it was that while they were there, the days were accomplished that she would be delivered. So right here, this verse is telling us a very important clue. So while they was at Bethlehem to enroll in the tax, her pregnancy days were completed. See right here? It said the days was accomplished. It's talking about she was full term now in her pregnancy and she's ready to deliver her baby. All right. So the East Star is, my people, Jupiter being in conjunction with Regulus. Now I know what you're thinking. No, that can't be right, but I have proof. It was something that Jupiter did to prove to you that it was announcing the birth of Yahushua HaMashyah. And it stayed there for a very long time, my people. Okay? So this is what you need to know. You probably want to get your pencil and paper, write this down. I'm sorry, my tongue about to get twisted. The conjunction occurred from September the 14th, 3 BC. Now, it's also known as -2. To May the 8th, 2 BC. Now, 2 BC is known as -1. And I'm sorry, my tongue getting twisted again. So Jupiter was in conjunction with Regulus 3 times. Now, I'm going to tell you, those who have that star program, go back to these dates and watch to see what Jupiter do from day to day. And I'm telling you, I did it myself, my people. Jupiter stayed around for a very long time, near and within the Leo constellation, which is going to bring us to this question. Why would Jupiter, the king planet, circle around Regulus and have retrograde near within the Leo constellation from 3 BCE, August 12th, to 2 BCE, June 17th. So in other words, why would Regulus, and I got a picture here, stay near or within the Leo constellation, starting at August 12th, 3 BC, and this planet you see here, on that day was Venus. Okay, it was in conjunction with Venus on that day. So it's near the Leo constellation. Then Jupiter, from that time, from August 3 BC, it stayed near and within the Leo constellation by making a circle around Regulus. And you see this star here, so it makes a circle around Regulus. Then it comes out of the Leo constellation and headed out on June the 17th, 2 BC. And that's a long time. This is to prove to you that the East Star was Jupiter and Regulus conjunction. This was the sign from heaven to let you know to let you know what day he was born. And it announces his birth. It announces that he is now in the earthly realm. Okay. Here are some other pictures of the same photo. You can see better. Take this time to pause the screen to get that one. And when it say eclipse, that's dealing with the heaven line right here. That's what it's talking about, especially what we're going to see here on Earth. Okay. Here go another picture. So when you think about it, this is a long time. From August the 12th, 3 BC to June the 17th, 2 BC was almost a year that Jupiter hanged around Leo and circled around Regulus. See what it do? Okay. So the next thing you'll probably be asking me, well, what about the Jupiter-Venus conjunction 2 BC? That occurred on August the 12th, 2 BCE. So let's take a look at that to make sure. So this is August the 12th, 2 BCE. Okay. And here we have Venus and Jupiter in conjunction right here. Okay. You see the sun is here. The moon is behind the head of Virgo. So this constellation right here does not match up with Revelation 12. That's the first proof. I got some more proof for you, okay? Because I know a lot of people are going to use, well, Jupiter and Venus has to be the sign on the day that he was born. No. And the reason is, again, when you look at Virgo, the sun is not clothing her. The moon is behind her head, okay? So it doesn't match up with Revelation 12, okay? Now, here's another proof that I'm going to give to you, because I have a lot of confirmation to back up why I'm telling you September the 14th, 3 BCE is the day that he's born. So I want you to have patience with me, and you probably want to take these notes. Augustus Caesar died August the 19th, 14 AD. So when you think about 3 BC, August the 12th, 3 BC, that August the 12th, a Jupiter-Venus conjunction is before August the 19th. Okay? That's one reason. Okay? Let me scroll down so you can really see. Now, Tiberius, who reigned after Augustus Caesar, his reign did continue after August the 19th, okay? Because he was a co-princeps. So in other words, when Augustus died, there was no interruption with Tiberius, proceeding forth after him. Then in September the 18th, 14 AD, he was officially given the title of precept, okay? Now, I would put the link of Tiberius and Caesar pages from Wikipedia so you can see this yourself. But to save a lot of time, I don't want to read this word for word because I had already stated this before in another video. All right? And that's in the King James 1611 Almanac. But what I'm trying to point out here to you is that it's very important to know when Tiberius reigned, when his full reign of him alone, nobody else started. So his full reign started after August the 19th, the day after Augustus died, okay? Because here's why. Remember I told you that there's a lot of pieces to the puzzle where we have confirmation from the book of Luke. So in the book of Luke, chapter 3, verse 1, it said, now in the 15th year of the reign of Tiberius Caesar. See right here, it's giving you a clue. Now in the 15th year reign, and they say after or before, so it's within that 15th year. So during this period of time, Yahushua HaMashyah was about 30 years old when this passage was talking about in the 15th year of the reign of Tiberius. Very important. You see why. Now that we know that Tiberius' first year reign started after August the 19th, 14 AD, okay, that's the first year. Therefore, if his 28th year would be in the 15th year reign, 20 AD, okay? So, this was the time when Yahushua was about 30 years old, for he had a birthday coming in the 7th month. And those who are familiar with the Most High calendar, usually the 7th month will fall somewhere between September and October. So do you see how we put these pieces of the puzzle together? So we see Tiberius reigning by himself after August the 19th. That's when Augustus died. And then Yahushua had a birthday coming up because he was about 30 years old. And in Luke chapter 3, verse 1, it tells us that in the 15th year. So what is the 15th year of Tiberius' reign? It's 28 AD. So in 28 AD, Yahushua would be 30 years old. Here's more proof. There are 4 Passover listed in the book of John, and you can find them in John chapter 2, verse 23, which would be 29 AD. And this is the first Passover. So Christ would be 31 years of age. The second one can be found in John chapter 5, verse 1, and that would be 30 AD. And Christ would be 32 years of age. The third one can be found in John chapter 6, verse 4, and that would be 31 AD, and Christ would be 33 years of age. And the fourth Passover can be found in John chapter 12 and chapter 13, which would be 32 AD. Therefore, Christ would be 33 and a half years old. Here's the mystery that many miss. How many years did Yahushua preach or prophesy? 3.5 years. Don't this sound familiar about the 2 witnesses who shall come in Revelation chapter 11? When they too shall preach for 3.5 years. And then they're going to be killed, and their body going to lay in the street for 3.5 days. And then they shall be resurrected. Do you see how the numbers are tied in together? Okay. And also Passover lets you know when the Hebrew calendars begin. That was a major clue that the book of John gave to us. So by knowing this very important piece of information about Christ being 30 years old, in 28 AD, in the 7th month of the Most High calendar, I was able to count back to see what year he was born. So when I count back, it was 3 BC, because in 3 BC, he was 0 years of age. 2 BC, he was 1 year of age. 1 BC, he was 2 years of age. And that's when Herod died. And that was also during the time when he killed every child who was 2 years and under. Reread Matthew chapter 2. There's a lot of great clues in there. And also watch the video that would be in the description box that talks about his birth. Okay. Another confirmation I got was dealing with the first and second book of Adam and Eve. For it was prophesied unto them that in the 5,500 year from Adam, that the souls and captives shall be delivered from Sheol. Now, 5,500 year is the 5.5 days from Adam, which is the 10,500 year from creation. And the scriptures will confirm that Christ did go to Sheol. You can read the books of the gospel, but also read Ephesians chapter 4, verse 8 through 10, and Psalms chapter 68, verse 18. And another hidden book you can read would be the book of Nicodemus, which will confirm what I'm telling you. So when you look at the timeline, Christ came to deliver the captives from Sheol, which is also another word, could be hell. Okay. He delivered them from that place in the 5,500 year, which is the 5.5 day from Adam. So this fell in the 5th day of Adam. And now we're in the 7th day. I want you to really think about this. Another proof to let me know that what the Most High has shown to me was correct and everything lined up was that in 969 BC was the first year of the building of the temple by King Solomon. So that fell in the 4,500 year from Adam, which is the 4.5 day from Adam, and the 9,500 year from creation. And this was during the time when the Most High had me to look at the timeline. Again, looking at when I'm sorry, my tongue getting twisted. When Adam was created, when he died, and looking at our ancestors too, when they was born and when they died. Also looking at historical events. Now, all this information that the Most High shared with me did not come from one book. My King James 611 was the foundation, works of Josephus, Philo, Adam and Eve, First and Second Enoch, Jubilees, and many other sources. Okay, which bring me to this one. First Enoch has a 10-week prophecy, and with the days from Adam, it lined up everything lined up, my people. And there would be a video in the description box dealing with the timeline where you can see for yourself, so you can understand what I'm talking about. Also, 2nd Ezra chapter 7 talk about these 7 days. And again, a day unto the Most High is not 24 hours, my people. A day unto the Most High is 1,000 years. And that can be confirmed in 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 8, and Psalms chapter 90, verse 4. Okay? So the next question is, you're probably thinking, why September the 14th? Why would he be born on that day? Again, Most High taught us in numbers. If I take September the 11th and subtract it from 14, I get 3, right? Then if I count the numbers from September 11th to 14, I get 4. Then if I look at the 7th month of the Hebrew calendar and count from the 1st day to the 4th day, I get 4 numbers, which you can see here. 1, 2, 3, 4. If I subtract the 7th month, 1st day from the 7th month, 4th day, I get 3. So 1 minus 4 give me 3. Again, he's speaking this to us in numbers. Here's the meaning of 3. 3 means a spiritual number or spiritual pureness. Jubilees chapter 32, verse 3. Now here's another mystery for those who have read 1st and 2nd Enoch. You know that the Most High is in the 10th level of heaven, and Yahushua is in the 7th level of heaven. If you take 7 from 10, you get what? 3. If you count from 10 to 7, you get 4 numbers. Again, as the Most High always have on his new moon day to worship him. Okay, that's his day that we come and worship him. And then his son was born on the 4th day of the moon, which fell in the 1st week of the lunar month and the 3rd day. Do you see how this tied all together? Again, you're going to have to watch some videos to understand this calendar. So Yahushua was born on the 4th day of the moon, which fell in the 1st week of the lunar month, which is the 3rd day, number 3. Now, again, you got to look at number 3. Why this is so important. Okay? What makes up Yahushua? The Father dwells in him, Yahuwah. He is the Word made into flesh, John chapter 1. And this is why he was named Emmanuel. Also, the Holy Spirit dwells in him, Isaiah chapter 11, Luke chapter 1 to chapter 4, 1 John chapter, it should be chapter 5. Okay, 1 John chapter 5. Because he has what? The 7 eyes of Yahuwah. Now here's a mystery that many don't understand about Yahushua. And all the prophets talks about him, especially Isaiah. And the mystery can be, to understand more about Yahushua, to understand the mystery about Yahushua and why he was called Emmanuel, you can get understanding of that in Baruch chapter 3, verse 35. And then this comes from the Apocrypha. This is our Elohim, and there shall none other be accounted in comparison of him. He hath found out all the way of knowledge, and had given it unto Jacob his servant, and to Israel his beloved. Afterward did he shew himself upon the earth, and converse with men. So how did the Most High shew himself upon the earth and converse with men? Here's the precepts. John chapter 1, verse 14, and Proverbs chapter 8, verse 31. Okay. John chapter 1, verse 14. And the Word was made flesh and dwelt among us, and we beheld his glory, the glory as of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth. Now you want to highlight that verse, because this is going to give you the understanding how did the Most High show himself upon the earth and converse with men. Is it not that Christ said that his Father dwelt in him? Does not Christ say that he bears his Father's name? Even in the Old Testament, it says the angel who bare Yahuwah's name? I highly recommend that you watch the video dealing with the prophecy of Dan to get more understanding of this mystery. Also, Proverbs chapter 8, verse 31 says, rejoicing in the habitable part of his earth, and my delights were with the sons of men. Who is his delights? Many do not understand this mystery of how Yahushua is spiritual pureness. For he was all three. And when I say all three, I'm not saying that he is Yahuwah. What I'm saying is they work on one accord. The Father dwells in him. He is the Word that was made into flesh, and the Holy Spirit dwells in him. So the Father was speaking through him, and my people did not see it. Okay? So take this time now to pause your screen so you can get the dates of the conjunctions that appear in 3 BC and 2 BC. Okay? And the link of this chart or website will be in the video description box. Now I'm going to scroll up so you can get the other part so you can see for yourself. Okay. So the next question, what is the sign that confirms whose kingdom we are in? Draco. Okay. Now I got to read this because this is for my Gentiles and also for some of my people, because many of you do not understand the prophecy of Genesis 25 and Genesis 27. For the Apocrypha will give you more understanding. 2nd Ezra chapter 6, verse 7. Then answered I and said, what shall be the parting and sudden of the times, or when shall be the end of the first, and the beginning of it that followeth? And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau was born in him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Do you understand who kingdom we are in? We are in Esau kingdom. But there's a hidden one behind Esau. And he's known as Draco. Okay? And I just want to point out right here, notice how Ezra asked this question. When shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth? Now he's talking about the end of the age. The same thing that Christ was asked when you read Matthew chapter 24. So this hidden one behind Esau kingdom, who is also known as Draco, the dragon, here's his star constellation here. So take this time now to pause your screen where you can see this. And I'm just going to minimize this just a little bit so you can see this. Okay. So we're going to talk a little bit about Draco. All right. Now, this part here is his head that you see in this picture here. And yes, he do like a serpent, as the word would say. Okay. You think about when you read Genesis chapter 3 and you read Revelations, the book of Revelation. Now, the head of Leviathan, and that's another name for Draco because Leviathan does mean dragon. Again, watch those videos that I recommend. But the heads of Leviathan star constellation is made up of actually 7 stars. Now, I cannot say these stars' names, so take this time to pause your screen to get those names. But how the 4 becomes 7 is that 3 of these stars are actually made up of 2 or have a companion. So the ones that have 2 stars are number 2, number 3, and number 4. Okay. And do you see the correlation? What's done in heaven is also done on earth. See how the Most High gives us these signs so we can get an understanding of his holy message. Okay. So the next picture we're going to go to. Now, I'm going to put these two videos in the description box so you can have something to compare according to what you get. Now, I do not agree with everything they say. Again, this is something that you're going to have to chew the meat and spread out the bones, and you're going to have to consult with the Most High to ask him what is true. But what I found in this video right here is a very short video, which is called The Red Dragon of Revelation 12 at the Woman Virgo. And what this video is basically talking about, there's been a cover up for the ones who've been watching the stars. And they've been noticing that this dragon right here, this image, has been appearing in the heavens. But the powers that be has been trying to block people from discovering the truth. I highly recommend your spare time watch this video because it giving you some idea when this happened. All right. So actually there has been a dragon showing up at Virgo. Okay. The next video, which is titled Revelation 12, The Woman, Child and Dragon, Pole Shift, Day Confirmed, and Planet X Location. Again, it talks about Revelation 12, and it talks about the September the 23rd constellation. Again, it's just to give you an idea about what programs you can look for, so you can look this stuff for yourself. But like with anything that that we watch on YouTube, always consult Yahuwah to get his truth. Okay. So that would be in the video description box. And also, I recommend that you do watch The American President number 45 and the Plague of Darkness, because that'll give you more understanding about Leviathan, who is called Draco. Okay. Now, this is a very important part in Ezra, 2nd Ezra chapter 6, because Ezra, who is Ezra of the Old Testament, also was given this by the Most High. So let me read this verse to you. Verse 17. It happened that when I have heard it, I stood up upon my feet and hearkened, and behold, there was a voice that spake. The sound of it was like the sound of many waters. And it said, Behold, the days come that I will begin to draw nigh, and to visit them that dwelled upon the earth, and will begin to make inquisition of them, what they be that have hurt unjustly with their unrighteousness, and when the affliction of Zion shall be fulfilled. Now, I want you, for those who have the 1611 Bible, you want to highlight that verse. For those who don't, this link will be in the video description box. But here, this is a prophecy dealing with the last days, and which we're seeing now. So we know this is a season for Christ to come back based on the sign, because he tells us when the affliction of Zion shall be fulfilled. Now, based on the signs we have seen in heaven and in earth, and based on history, we have learned that our time is up. We had 8 tetrads of the blood moon. Our last Jubilee was from 2015 to 2016, which is the number 8. And if you know anything about number 8, it means a new beginning is to follow after it. So that's one of the great signs. You have seen earthquakes, which are birth pains, as well as floodings, disease, hunger, sinkholes, so many disasters, even locusts and the waters turning into blood. All these things been going on to let us know what season we are in. So we know that the affliction of Zion is coming to a completion. Let me tell you why. Another clue we have is in Daniel chapter 11, verse 37. Again, Daniel's 11 is another prophecy that talks about the past, starting with Antiochus IV Epiphanes. Well, we're starting with the major captivities with the ancient Babylonians, to the Persians, Medes, to the Greeks, and then to the Romans. But Daniel's chapter 11 It's another prophecy that's dealing with the past, present, and future. Okay? So when it starts to shift around verse 36. So I want to read verse 37. I want to read to you verse 35 to you. And some of them of understanding shall fall, to try them, and to purge them, and to make them white, even to the time of the end, because it's yet for a time appointed. So if you have read the whole book of Daniel, you will learn that each kingdom of the Gentiles have an appointed time by the Most High. And we have seen that with the ancient Babylonians, the Persian Medes, the Greeks, and now we are in the Roman kingdom, which is about to come to an end too. Okay, but notice here, this is why I put this in boldface. It said, even to the time of the end. See, we are in that time now. So in verse 36, there's another important clue that will relate to 2nd Ezra chapter 6, verse 19. Let us read verse 36. And the king shall do according to his will, and he shall exalt himself and magnify himself above every god, and shall speak marvelous things against the God of gods, and shall prosper till the indignation be accomplished, for that is determined shall be done. I just want to scroll down, make sure I'm not missing. Okay, yeah. Anything here. So this part you definitely want to highlight. You need to ask yourself, whose indignation are we talking about here? Think about it. Now we already got the first clue in this verse. It says even to the time of the end. So my people has been afflicted since 70 AD. And we have already established in the beginning of the video that the first Antichrist who came on the scene was Antiochus Epiphanes, and there was many other after him, such as Napoleon, such as Hitler. Okay, but now we wait for the last one to show. Okay. So, in other words, this king that he's talking about is the king of Babylon. And just watch that video with American President number 45 to get more information about that one. But the question we need to answer is, whose indignation are we talking about here? And who is this indignation against? The indignation is Yahuwah, and he has righteous anger against the Hebrew Israelites. Now, another word for them are Zion. Okay, there was two main things that he was mad with them about. He was mad with them with their idolatry, and he was mad with them about rejecting Yahushua HaMashyah. And when you read Zechariah chapter 11, verse 10 to 14, they rejected salvation. And because they rejected salvation, they was punished for what they did. Their brotherhood between the house of Judah and the house of Israel was broken. And they went into captivity. And it's been ongoing since 70 AD. In your spare time, I highly recommend that you study the transatlantic slave trade, because it was not only the Europeans and Spaniards involved, but also the Arabs and the Hamites had a hand in this too. Okay. So yes, the Negroes are the children of Israel. And that's something you can study in your spare time. Study the curses of Deuteronomy chapter 28. For it was my people who was taken on slave ships, who was brought to Osiris. And Osiris is the Americas. The Americas is made up of Alaska, Canada, which is basically North America. Then you have South America, and you have these islands. Okay. So Yahuwah had indignation against Israel. And that indignation was to carry out from a certain period of time since 70 AD. And to confirm to you what I'm telling you is correct, you need to read Isaiah chapter 51. Okay? Now, this brings us to the other part of the title of this video, because it's another great mystery. And this mystery is, when you think about it, when you ask yourself, who is the arm of Yahuwah? You know, Yahuwah states that he will deliver Israel with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm. So the next question would be like, who is this stretched out arm? I want to read Isaiah chapter 51, verse 9 to you to give you the answer. Awake, awake, put on strength, O arm of the Most High. Awake as in the ancient days. In the generation of old, art thou not it that had cut Rahab and wounded the dragon? Now, Rahab in this verse means Egypt, for those who do you do your research. Dragon will pertain to Satan, Leviathan, Draco. Okay. Now you need to ask yourself, who is this arm of the Most High? Well, we have confirmation in John chapter 12, verse 38, that the saying of Isaiah the prophet might be fulfilled, which he spake. Master, who have believed our report? And to whom have the arm of the Most High been revealed? Do you see this? And also, this same scripture is confirmed in Isaiah chapter 53, verse 1. So again, who is this arm of the Most High? This arm is Yahushua HaMashyah. Now, those who read the whole volume book will understand that he was there in the beginning. He was there during the Exodus, during the wilderness, and he was there leading my people to the land of Canaan. You see, here's the mystery that my people understand. All three spiritual entities were there: the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. But you got to read the whole volume of the book to understand that. So I've gave you some scriptures here to read. Read Ezekiel chapter 20, verse 33 through 44. Isaiah chapter 11. 2nd Ezra chapter 13. Jeremiah chapter 3. 2nd Maccabees chapter 2, verse 1 through 8. Okay. And other scriptures you can read about Yahushua being the arm of the Most High, to understand what is his role, what is his function. Read John chapter 5 with Acts chapter 17, verse 29 through 30. And also read 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 1 through 5, which would prove that he was there in the wilderness with my people. And he is the angel that bears Yahuwah's name. Read Exodus chapter 33. And there's many other scriptures or books you can read in the Bible to confirm what I'm telling you. But Yahushua has a great role to play. See, he has to prepare the way for Yahuwah. And that's all I'm going to say at this time about him and that role. Now, this is some FYI dealing with the names of Satan. Because again, a lot of people don't understand who Satan is. See, they think Satan is a man, but actually Satan is a principality. He is a spirit. He is an angel who has rebelled against the Most High. He is the complete opposite of Yahushua. So Satan planted in heaven that represent him is Saturn. And man's symbol for him is the 6-pointed hexagram star. And the animal that's associated to him is a goat. Okay. Now, these are some names that you can find for him. Baal, and that can be found in the book of Judges, chapter 2, verse 13. And Baal do mean Lord. All right. Another title he has is Prince of this world. That can be found in John chapter 12, verse 31. And John chapter 14, verse 30. And John chapter 16, verse 11. His next title is Prince of Power of the Air. And that can be found in Ephesians chapter 2, verse 2. Now, other titles of him, and you want to take this time to pause your screen to get those scriptures, because I'm not going to read everything word for word. I'm just going to give you the rest of his titles. Satan is also called the Prince of Devils, Father of Lies, King over all the children of pride. Another title he has is Beelzebul or Beelzebub, and and they mean the Lord / master of the house, the Prince of Devils / demons, Prince of evil spirits or chief of devils. Now, Beelzebub means Lord of the Flies or Lord of the Fly. And the reason why this name is given to him, because it also means Lord of Dung. And it's not the way you think, like well, when they're giving you a what you call an analogy, when they say Lord of Dung, what is telling you is that means that he is the Lord of filth. Okay, so he is the God of the children who are perverted, who are unholy, who are unclean. So therefore, that's why he is referenced as Lord of Dung or Lord of Filth. And one of the things that his children do is commit idolatry as well, and whatever that is against Torah. Okay. Another title of his is Prince of Death and Destruction, Prince of all evil, Author of death, source of all pride, keeper of the inferior regions. Now, I did look at this definition because I know what most people might think is dealing with hell. No. This is dealing with the regions of the firmament or parts of the earth's surface or parts of the heavens. Now, you have to read Second Enoch, I believe. It talks about Satan and where he dwelled, to give you more understanding. And you have to remember, Satan is the one who can go before our Father and make accusations against us. And proof of that can be found in Zechariah with the high priest Joshua. Also in the book of Jude. Also in the book of Revelation. And also in the book of Job too. So he is the one that can go before the Father and always make accusation against us. That's why Christ warned us and told us to keep the commandments. He told us to keep and to follow the word of the Most High. So Satan will not have anything to use against you. Okay. And also for understanding with Christ, who is our high priest in heaven and mediator, he is the one who intercedes for us on our behalf. So do you see how one is anti and one is pro? You got one that's against you and one that's for you. So that thing. All right. Another title of his is Prince of all wicked, Father of impious and abandoned. And abandoned is really pertaining to outlaw, those who've been cast out. Okay. Prince of destruction. Now, author of Beelzebub, defeat and banishment. And we're going to talk about Beelzebub, defeat and banishment, because this same word can also be used for another principality or another angel. Okay. Again, because we just don't have the original writings of those hidden books. It's hard to go back and look and see what was it truly referencing. But Satan has been known to cause the prince of hell to be banished out of heaven. That's how he ended up in hell. Okay. Well, that's how he ended up being the prince and ruler of hell. Satan was the cause of his banishment. Okay. Satan, another title of him, another character of him is that he is the scorn of Yahuwah's angels and loved and loathed by all righteous persons. That means he's the most hated. And when you read the book of Nicodemus, you will learn that he is also under the dominion of the prince of hell in Nicodemus chapter 8. So with Lucifer, when you read Isaiah chapter 14, and I do want to mention this, when you read about him, it is a man who's being possessed by an angel, a principality, which is Lucifer. Okay. And I'm not gonna give you the same details I gave in the other video. I'm just gonna mention what I did not mention in the video that's dealing with American President number 45 and Plague of Darkness. But if you notice when you read the scriptures, that man who was cast into hell and who was possessed by Lucifer, that setting is in hell. Okay. It's going to be taking place in Sheol. All right. And that's dealing with the king of Babylon in Isaiah chapter 14. Now, another name for Lucifer, the planet in the heaven that represent Lucifer is Venus, also known as day star. He's also called sun and morning. And man image for him is the 5-pointed pentagon star. And the animal that is associated to Lucifer is a dove. Okay. So when you read Judges chapter 2, verse 13, you will come to find out that Lucifer is tied into, I cannot pronounce all these words, but I'm going to say the one that I can say, to Astar. Okay. You may know her as being the queen of heaven, or Ishtar, or Atar. So when I did some research about Lucifer, and what I'm saying here, Lucifer is a separate entity, spiritual entity from Satan. There are two different things from what I have found so far in researching. Okay. And based on the mythology about Lucifer, he's more likely probably the prince of hell. Okay. And you think about it, for the prince of hell to be banished or to be cast out of heaven, that happened way before Yahushua came down to Sheol to deliver them. Okay. Also, just to let you know, in Sheol, there was a place where you had the righteous to go, and then you had a place where the wicked to go when you do your studies. All right. So when you go to Wikipedia and you read about this mythology about Lucifer, you will learn that he is the prince of hell. Okay. And I'll put this link in the description box. And I'm going to blow this up where you can pause your screen and you can read this for yourself, but I'm not going to read this word for word. But what has happened is that in Christianity, they have often got these two mixed up. You know, they will often get Satan. They will often say Satan is the same as Lucifer, but from my study, they are two separate entities. Okay, so you can take this time now to pause your screen and to read it for yourself. Okay. So I'm going to minimize this now. All right. So now this is going to bring us to the next question. What is the sign in heaven to confirm the season of Yahushua coming? Okay, again, we got to look at what? Revelation chapter 12. But this time, my people, the sign is repeating itself in a different way. Now, here's the thing that they left out. Now, we do need to look at September 23rd, 2017 AD, but they did not go further enough. And here's the great information they missed. They did not look at October 2017 AD. Okay. But let me first mention this before we go look at these star constellation pictures so you can see what I'm talking about. In your spare time, I want you to read Revelation chapter 12 because there's a mystery that is pertaining about the wilderness. See, many do not realize there's a wilderness in heaven and there's a wilderness in the earth. Okay. And to understand this mystery, you're going to have to read these scriptures. And when you get confused or lost, again, seek Yahuwah and he'll give you an answer. But also look at the example that Christ set, because he already paved the way. Okay, so what he done, we shall follow. Okay, read Leviticus chapter 16, Isaiah chapter 53, Daniel chapter 9, Hebrews chapter 11, Luke chapter 17, and chapter 20, and chapter 21 of Luke. Read Mark chapter 13, Matthew chapter 24. Now, to understand that there are two tribulations, even read Revelation chapter 1, because many people are getting this confused with the Great Tribulation. See, the Great Tribulation is for 3.5 years with the last Antichrist. That's what they're getting confused. But the tribulation that Christ is talking about was since the time of 70 AD. And for those who accept salvation, you shall go through tribulation too. Now, as we speak, read John chapter 16, verse 32 to 33, and compare it to Revelation chapter 2, verse 20 to 23, and you will see what I'm talking about the two great tribulations. Also read 2nd Ezra chapter 5 to chapter 9 and chapter 13. Read Isaiah chapter 11, chapter 4, chapter 14, and read 2nd Maccabees chapter 2, verse 1 through 8 with Jeremiah chapter 3 and Jeremiah chapter 16, verse 14 to 21, and Hosea chapter 2. When you have read those scriptures, you will get understanding about the wilderness, how you will have one in heaven and one in earth. Now we're going to look at the constellation for September the 20th, September the 23rd, and I meant to put for the 24th too, and for October the 27th, because there were some great things missed. So in the year of this year of 2017 AD, on September 20th, in the 6th month of the Most High calendar, you're going to have Venus and Regulus to come in conjunction. And that's the meaning behind that, according to the scriptures. Okay? So here's a picture of Venus and Regulus in conjunction. Then you have Mars, Mercury, and the moon is here. Okay? You have Leo above Virgo. You're going to have the circle of the 12 stars around Virgo head, right in here. Okay? Then you have the sun behind her head. See that difference? But this time we got Jupiter between her legs. And there's a reason for that, which I'll explain as we get to the end of this video. Okay? So let's go to the next picture. The next picture is just a close-up shot of how Venus is in conjunction with Regulus. It's going to be shining very bright that night. And again, this is all based on the east. And these photos are based off of Rod Israel. Okay? And this is for September the 20th, 2017. So here's the scriptures dealing with Regulus and Venus being in conjunction. Revelation 22, verse 16. I, Yahushua, has sent my angel to testify unto you these things in the churches. I am the root and the offspring of David and the bright and morning star. For those who understand about Venus, is not Venus the bright and morning star? So when these two planets come in conjunction, that's what he's saying. Do you see how these stars telling us the story, confirming the prophecies about Yahushua? Okay? So he is the bright and morning star. Another thing in the scriptures, and this is for my Old Testament, that was written about him. And I'll have to read 2 Samuel chapter 23, verse 1. Now these be the last words of David. David, the son of Jesse, said, and the man who was raised up on high, the anointed of the Most High of Jacob, and the sweetest psalmist of Israel, said, the Spirit of the Most High spake by me, and his word was in my tongue. Do you see this spiritual connection? Spirit of the Most High, word was in David. the Spirit of the Most High spoke to David, and the word was in David's tongue. Okay. Verse 3. And Yahuwah of Israel said, the rock of Israel spake to me. He that ruleth over men must be just, ruling in the fear of Yahuwah. And he shall be as the light of the morning when the sun rises, even a morning without clouds, as the tender grass springing out of the earth by clear shining after the rain. This is the characteristics of Yahushua. Yahushua is a rock. Read 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 1 through 5, and you will see what I'm talking about. But the Elohim of Israel said this to David. The rock of Israel spoke this to David. Okay? We know that Yahushua HaMashyah is going to rule over men. He's going to be just. And he also going to rule in the fear of the Most High. In other words, he's not going to do what the wicked ones do because he fear Yahuwah himself. Read Isaiah chapter 11. Because that's one of the things that was given to him, that he would fear the Most High. That was the difference between him and the first Adam. Verse 4. And he shall be as the light of the morning, which the sun rises, even a morning without clouds. Do you see what that conjunction represent? Let me read verse 5 to close this out. Although my house be not with Elohim, yet he hath made with me an everlasting covenant, order in all things and sure, for this is all my salvation and all my desire, although he make it not to grow. So in your spare time, read 2 Ezra chapter 23. And also during this time of September the 20th, that date is before the fall equinox. Okay. That's another important sign that they are missing, that has happened on that we are expecting to happen on September 20th, 2017. Venus being in conjunction with Regus. Okay. The next sign that we're going to take a look at is September the 23rd, because I want you to notice that this time the moon is at her leg, waxing 8.4%. Do you see how this sign is different from September the 11th, 3 BC? This time we got Regus, Venus, Mars, and Mercury way above Virgo. But I want you to take a look at this line that they make, because that's telling you something too. Okay. Now we got the sun behind her head. We got Jupiter between her legs. But next time we got the moon by her leg. And that moon is waxing 8.4%. Okay. Now here I do want to mention this. The direction of the moon, because this is again east, is coming down this way. Right down here. And if I can find the photo as we go through this video, I want to show you something about this moon so you can understand about month. But the day that this is happening with the moon being 8.4% and by Virgo's leg is on September the 23rd, 2017. Okay. So now we're going to take a look at September the 24th and notice that the moon is below her feet and it's waxing 14.6%. So we're going to take a look at that photo now. So on September the 24th, the moon is below her feet, Jupiter between her legs, the sun behind her head. And now you got this constellation. See how here? This alignment between the planets and the star. Regus, Venus, Mars, Mercury. It's telling you something, my people. It's confirming the prophecy that shall come to pass. Okay? And notice that the moon is almost to its quarter phase. Okay? Quarter of a moon. That means it has a quarter amount of light. Okay? Again, the moon is coming down this way. Let us go to the next photo. Now, This is what I noticed. This alignment with Regulus, Venus, Mars, and Mercury lasts from September the 22nd to September the 27th. You got to ask yourself, why did this last? And another thing we need to ask, why is Jupiter between her legs? Now we're going to look at the word. Don't this alignment from Regulus to Mercury remind you of the rod of iron? And the rod of iron means all shall be subject unto Yahushua HaMashyah. Okay. Here's what the words say. 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 20. But now is Christ risen from the dead and become the first fruits of them that sleep. Now, for those who have their Bibles, you want to highlight first fruits because that would tie into the 144,000 as well as with the bride. Okay, because first fruit does mean to be what? Born again. Verse 21, for since by man came death, by man came also the resurrection of the dead. For as in Adam all died, even so in Christ shall all be made alive. So what verse 22 is telling you, the first Adam brought death, but the second Adam brought life. All you have to do, my people, is to receive salvation and be baptized in the name of Yahushua HaMashyah. Let us keep going. Verse 23, but every man in his own order. Christ the first fruits. Afterwards, they are Christ at his coming. Then cometh the end, when he shall have delivered up the kingdom to Yahuwah, even the Father, when he shall have put down all rule and all authority and power. This is what I'm talking about, what Christ have to do. He has a role to play. He got to get things in order for his Father. Do you see what verse 24 tells you? That Christ shall have delivered up the kingdom to Yahuwah. Okay. Verse 25. For he must reign till he have put all enemies under his feet. Do you see that? He going to put all enemies under his feet. The last enemy shall be destroyed is death. For he hath put all things under his feet. But when he has said all things are put under him, it is manifest that it is manifest that he is except which did put all things under him. And when all things shall be subdued under him, then shall the Son also himself be subject unto him and put all things under him, that Yahuwah may be all in all. In other words, when Yahushua get things in order and have all things subject under him, he going to become subject under the Father. He going to be underneath the Father, my people. And then the Father can dwell in all of us. This is something. So also looking at this planet alignment, not only do we see like a rod being formed here, but we also see that these planets to be what? In subject under the King's star. Tell you, these constellations is telling you something, my people. Don't you see the connection? Revelation chapter 12, verse 5. And she brought forth a man child who shall to rule all nations with a rod of iron. And her child was caught up into the Most High, into his throne. So this time the child is coming back as a man, as a lion, and with a rod of iron. He's going to enforce his Father's will. Well, I'm telling you, my people, time is up. Time is out. You're not going to do what you want to do anymore. And for those who will not submit, if you are alive at this appointed time, you're going to be cut off. Okay? Now, here's the missing piece that most people are missing about these star constellation. When I looked at October the 24th to October the 22nd, I noticed that Jupiter will be in conjunction with the Sun. And remember, I told you, notice how Jupiter is between the legs of Virgo. Is for a reason, because a retrograde is going to take place. Okay. And the day that Jupiter is in conjunction with the sun is on October the 27th. And that's in the 8th month of the Most High calendar. Okay? How I know? I looked at time and date because the 8th month would come after the dark moon, which fall on October the 19th at 10:12 p.m. Israel Standard Time. In Hebrew day, because we go from sundown to sundown, that would be from the 19th to the 20th. And those who have understanding about the Most High number, what do the number 8 represent? A new beginning. Do you see what they miss? Do you see this, my people? And I got to show you. Let me see. Let me go down. Maybe I can show you down here. I tell you, when I saw this brought tears to my eyes. This is the reason why Jupiter shall remain I'm sorry, I'm trying to get my tongue right. This is the reason why Jupiter was between Virgo legs. Jupiter was waiting for the sun, so it can be in conjunction with the sun. And now let me give you what the words say, what this means for October 27, 2017. Revelation chapter 1 verse 16, and it says, "And he had in his right hand 7 stars, and out of his mouth went a sharp 2-edged sword, and his countenance was as the sun shining in his strength." Now I have here a picture of it in red so you can really see how Jupiter is aligned with the sun, because Jupiter represents what? A king planet. What did the word say about Christ? That he is the King of Kings. He is the Master of Masters. And for those who don't understand what I mean by Master of Master, it means he's the Lord of Lords. And when Jupiter, the king planet, become in line with the sun, it means that he will be shining so bright as a bright, bright light. Do you see what this constellation is telling us? It's telling us that he is coming. But this time he's coming with a rod of iron. And he's going to enforce his Father's will upon the earth. And those who do not submit unto him, he's going to cut them off, my people. Do you see what the heavens telling us? When I saw this brought tears to my eyes. I said, oh my goodness, Father, I see what you're telling me. The righteous one, the Lord of righteousness is coming. The Master of righteousness is coming, as prophesied by the prophet Jeremiah. For the for the planet Jupiter represent righteousness. Let me read these other scriptures. And I want to just minimize this just a little bit so you can look at this picture and see what the Father has shown me, because I want to share this with you, because when I saw this, I rejoiced. And I said, Father, I see. Matthew chapter 17, verse 2. "And I was transfigured before them, and his face did shine as the sun, and his raiment was white as the light." So what this constellation is telling us, this is what it's telling us, because Matthew 24, verse 27 had the answer. It's telling us, "For as the lightning coming out of the east, and shineth even unto the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be." Do you see the connection? Do you see this, my people? He coming back, and they're going to see him on clouds, and they're going to see this bright, shining light. He's going to shine so bright. He's going to be bright as the sun. He's going to be glorified. Yahushua HaMashyah. And he's going to carry out his Father's will. And he's going to put the earth back into the hands of the righteousness. And he's going to have the tabernacle of David to be rebuilt. Do you see this? What the constellations are telling us? Father, I give you all the honor, glory, and the praise. Take this time now to pause the screen to get this understanding, because like Father, like Son, He is the Alpha and Omega. He's the beginning and end, just like His Father, because His Father dwells in Him. He bears His Father's name, and the Holy Spirit dwells in Him. Do you understand this, my people? Do you understand this? Also, take this time now to pause the screen so you can understand why He is the master of righteousness. I cannot pronounce these Hebrew words, so take your time to understand. Because the day is going to come, my people, that we no longer going to call Yahuwah Baali, which means my Lord. We're going to call Him Isha, my husband. And you understand where Baali come from, because it come from Baal, which means, Baal. And you know who Baal was associated to. He was associated to Satan. And we see what Satan has done to His word by taking His name out and replacing it with Lord. But the day going to come, my people, we no longer going to call Him that. We're going to call Him Isha. Do you see? Just like Father, like Son, Yahuwah is our righteousness. So is Yahushua HaMashyah our righteousness, because He's going to make sure we're going to have righteousness in the earthly realm. No longer shall the wicked prevail. No longer shall the wicked rule over us anymore. And the Hebrew word for master is Adon. And the Hebrew word for my master, my Elohim, is Adonai. So take this time to pause your screen to get this information right here. And the scriptures are listed. So when we look at 3 BCE versus 2017 AD, September 11th, 3 BCE is the beginning of the story. Okay, this is a sign to let us know that He was born in the 7th month. All right, and when Jupiter and Regulus came into conjunction on September 14th, that was the day He was born, as confirmed by the word. Okay, and when we get to 2017, this is the sign to let us know He's coming back. For we see Jupiter between Virgo legs, okay? And then we see this rod right here that is made up of Regulus, Venus, Mars, and Mercury. And that sign on September the 23rd, 2017 is to let us know that He is coming back. And I got to go back to this one. I have to go back to this one, because this was the greatest thing that the Most High allowed me to see. And I thank you, Father. I give you all praises, because this is letting me know, this sign here, that this is the season for Him to come back. This is the season, my people. We're not going to know the day or hour, but we should know the season. And it's time to warn everybody. It's time to prepare. Get your house in order, because the King is coming back. Yahushua HaMashyah is coming back, and we ain't got to go through wickedness and evil and affliction and oppression anymore. We're going to be redeemed. We're going to be gathered. And the Exodus shall happen. And Satan shall be cast into the lake of fire with his wicked children. This right here, Jupiter and the sun, is let us know He's coming back on the clouds from the east, and He can be shining as a great light. He can be shining so bright as the sun. So we give you all praises, honor, and glory. So share this word. Let the people know, my people, about September the 20th, September the 23rd, September the 24th, and October the 27th. For this is the sign, the great sign in heaven, to let us know this is the season for Christ to come back. For we are in the 7th day of Adam. Read 2 Ezra chapter 7. Make sure you preach that the kingdom of heaven is at hand, because it's really at hand, my people. Now, do you see? Make sure that you and those that you are preaching to that they receive salvation with their whole heart as written in Romans chapter 10. And baptize them in the name of Yahushua HaMashyah, for where there's water, you can be baptized. Look at the example in Acts chapter 8. And for those who preach against the water baptism, shame on you, because the prophet Nate Turner gave us the example in his confession. He did the water baptism. Christ did the water baptism. It's all in the gospel. So why not follow the Lamb? Follow the Lamb example. I love you all, and Shalom.